Evening, everyone. It is Thursday, June 4th, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we are live on Instagram. This is Nikki Clarke of the Nikki Clarke Show, and the show is about transforming lives one story at a time, and we have a fabulous interview coming up. Dondre Homer. So he's going to be joining us in just a couple of seconds. So I just want to wave to everyone who's joining us. Hello, Director Rowe, Tierra Crawford. How are you doing? Good to see you.
I'm good.
And welcome, Dondre. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, thank you so much for your time. And how's the little one? How's he doing?
He's good. Has a lot of
Yeah.
energy. Has a lot of
Yeah.
energy. I'm loving it. He's healthy. He's healthy.
Awesome. How old is he now?
He's 8 months. Actually, yesterday he was 8 months.
Wow. No time, eh?
Time flies
In
by.
no time. And
Very
then he's going to be doing all kinds of things,
running up.
driving you, taking the car, dropping you off.
Yeah,
I got the car tonight.
yeah. I actually
Awesome. We'll
talk.
enjoy.
Yeah, I actually talk to my wife
Enjoy.
all the time, saying like one day he's gonna be saying, "Wow, Dad, can I borrow the car?" And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, like
Yeah. Yeah.
time's definitely gonna fly."
It will. It will. So thank you again. And shout out to your wife. I
Yes,
follow her on Instagram.
yes.
She's got a great company. Maybe we'll have her on the show to talk about what she does.
Please
Do
do.
you want to give her a shout out or anyone else a shout out before we start?
Yes, my wife most definitely, someone who supports me through everything, labor and love. So anyone who does jump in, please follow her and what she's doing with her teas. She's really helping people, transforming their lives. Um, and just I support all Black businesses. I want to give a shout out to all Black businesses who are really just trying to make a difference in our community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what is her Instagram
Labor and
handle?
love.
Labor and Love.
Yeah,
Okay, fantastic. All right. Well, thank you, Labor and Love, for what you're doing, and keep doing and growing, and
absolutely.
definitely there to support. So, DeAndre, as you know, we've had a conversation before, but for those who don't know you, the show is about showcasing the story behind the story. And how you got to where you are now as a prominent figure in the community, and also being an author of this great children's book called Five Nuggets, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about what the book is all about. So let's hear your story. How did it all begin?
So how Five Nuggets actually began was self-reflecting. There was one day in particular where I promised my wife that we're gonna go to Jamaica, right? And at the time, I never had the funds, and there's just something about that night I felt like I failed her. Um, and immediately, as I'm thinking about her, a little boy comes to mind, and which is my son. And a voice comes to my head is like, you know what? You're going to be a father. What are you going to be teaching your son? And as I'm reflecting on my son, tears coming down my face, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I start thinking of characteristics that I've developed but haven't really put in action. So the characteristics are perseverance, persistence, patience, contentment, and faith. And I was thinking, I'm like, how am I going to teach my son, something, these characteristics? And immediately, a book comes to my mind. I'm like, you know what? Why don't you put these characteristics into action by writing a book? And as right here, Five Nuggets, exactly what I did, and I had to go through every single characteristics, um, to to actually get this book accomplished. And through that, I was able to get it done, which was great last year. And then I wanted to turn into a nonprofit because I want to be able to now not only impact my son's life, but many children around the world, around the GTA. And I was like, you know what? How can I impact their lives? So I started a nonprofit organization where the application of these five nuggets will be education. I do believe that education is very important, and I want to be able to do my part in building the next generation. So that's basically how Five Nuggets started. It started from just self-reflecting, and here we are now, still growing.
Wonderful. In that respect, Dondre, I'm sure you, as millions of us, have been reflecting over the last couple of days of just what we've been seeing on social media and allowing ourselves to process
Hmm.
what we're seeing and what it means, how to react. What is your take on what we've witnessed with the anti-black racism, with the protests? What's your view?
Um, so, as a black male, I understand the frustration of many, um, and it's important um, to express yourself. Again, I find it's very important to express how you feel, and there are ways to do so. I do understand. I do respect peaceful protesting. Um, Breaking down your home doesn't make sense to me, but who am I to judge someone else how they feel, how they react, right? So I don't want to ever say anything with them, but I want to actually start by saying, my condolences to the Floyd family on what they're going through, and I want to let them know that although I am here in Canada, that that I'm here to support in any way, shape, or form, especially as a young black male. Um, but honestly, my views on things, and I was like, okay, what's next? What actions are going to be taken? Um, yes, after the protesting, I see on Tuesday everyone did the blackout, and it's great, and I support it. It's now my my view now is everything's like, what's next? What's the action that's
Yeah,
taking in place?
yeah,
What are people going to be doing to make change? I'm doing my part in creating free tutoring for our community, scholarships. Um, um, uh, a company, a gentleman who's fly. He has his clothing brand. He started clothing where he has Black Lives Matter at the back. I'm supporting that as well. I'm trying my best to find all the different type of black businesses to support. So that's what I'm about right now. Is that okay? What is the action taking place? Um, and that's really my thought of what's really going on, because I see the protesting, and we now need to see a little bit more action, in my opinion, of okay, what are we going to do to actually see change? Does that mean we have to create our own ecosystem? I don't know, but creating our own banks, shopping at our own grocery stores, I don't know, but yeah, it's all about action right now for me.
yeah, yeah. And thank you for your your observations and reflection.
Hmm.
And I had a conversation earlier with a black woman about how we were processing what was going on,
Hmm.
and she said she reached the tipping point, and I think we all have,
Absolutely.
based on the tragedy that happened in Minneapolis. So
Mm.
we're at a point where we can't pretend that this isn't going to happen again.
Yep.
We can't sweep it under the rug. I think it's crossed the border now, where
Yep.
it's not even just the black community reacting. It's communities
Everywhere.
right across the board are outraged.
Absolutely.
So it's a tipping point, but it's one where this is where all the action can happen.
Yeah.
And just like you said, it's like, okay, well, what are you doing? And I said to her, well, this is where we need to have these honest
Conversation.
conversations, albeit uncomfortable.
Yep.
It has to happen now, and we have to get to a real place, and to also extend invitations for allyship.
Absolutely.
I mean, we saw allyship where there was a protest happening. I forgot what city, and there were Caucasian women, white women, who stood in front of black protesters,
Hmm.
protecting them. And
Yep.
on the other side of the coin,
Hmm.
there were black men protecting a police officer
Yep.
from whatever could have happened. So we're seeing that there are undercurrents of hope,
Yeah,
and people want to get together, but we just need to talk
absolutely,
and to remove this fear,
absolutely.
right? And then it has to be meaningful,
Hmm.
that we take all these conversations and then implement them in short-term and long-term strategies so that it can be in a system
Yep,
that works for everybody,
yep.
right? So I thank you for sharing that, but that's kind of my take on it, and I hope it gets to that point,
No, absolutely,
that we can have a meaningful strategic plan from this.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned before, the conversation is uncomfortable, but it has to be done.
It has to
It
be.
has to be done, right?
Yeah. For your child,
Yeah, exactly.
and probably more children, and for my three children,
Absolutely.
they're adults, but it's like it's a legacy that we've got to start now. If this is the door that's been given us to walk through, then we have to
You have to go through it.
do something responsible with it,
You have to
right?
go through it for sure.
Um, with the five nuggets,
Hmm.
I see this as a very pivotal opportunity to mentor children, because I think that's one of the areas too
Yeah.
that we need in our community, other communities as well. We need adults to step in and to mentor.
Hmm.
The African proverb is, it takes a village to raise a child,
Absolutely.
and unfortunately, some of that has kind of been missing
Yeah.
in a lot of our families.
Hmm.
But what would you say in terms of mentorship and how you want to use it with your book?
Well, right now, again, we're starting with education, and actually teaching um, meaningful uh, meaningful subjects. And when I say that, I mean as in like finances. Now, how do you know, look at a credit report? How do you buy a house? What is a credit card? What is credit, right? Teaching basic things of finance and English so people are able to use their words and explain how they feel, instead of lashing out in violence. Um, so for me, my goal um, is to one, start with education, and then I would love to actually get a center or be able to have like a actual like sit down with group, especially with men. Again, I don't have I love all genders, and I would love to help a lot of both male and female, but like I see a lack in male, um, a lot of lack in male role models, and I've been privileged to have great role models who've really shifted me into the man that I am today. And I just feel like there is a lack in male role models, especially black male role models. So I would love to actually create a program or even partner with an existing program, because you don't even have to reinvent the wheel, right? If there's someone that is there,
Absolutely, yeah.
if there's someone that's already there doing it, what can I do to help them bring this forward, right? So that is my goal, and really mentorship. Um, that's how I want to grow this organization and further on, you know. But yeah, mentorship for males is something that's really been on my heart for a while.
Okay. All right. For those joining us, I'm just going to give a couple of shout outs for people who joined. Paula Carson, thank you so much for joining. Steffi, Tamara, thank you. Words After Dark Inc., thank you. Tony Shepard, hello, I'm going to give you a wave. Mahir, thank you for joining. Bear Slate, thank you for joining. And that's Carrie. Mac for you, thank you for joining. And Booksby, Dwayne Wellington, I'm going to give you a wave. Thank you so much. Appreciate Victory Speaks, that's Nicola. Thank you for joining. Sunny, Philip, thank you again for joining. And we're having a discussion with, we're talking to the author of Five Nuggets, Dondre Homer. And the Five Nuggets are what are values,
Yeah.
intrinsic values that we should have in order to just get through our day to day. And
Mhm.
can you just repeat what they are and maybe can expand a little bit on each one?
So the first one is perseverance. And the way I look at it is I like to use going to the gym because I I find it fascinating those who go to the gym religiously. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to the gym, but
I have.
when you're when you're going to when you're going through um, that workout and you start feeling the pain, it can get unbearable, and be you have to have perseverance to continue to go through that, even though your arms are tired. One more. You hear your mentor or the trainer, one more, right? And then there's persistence, where let's say your goal is to lose 15 pounds. Um, if you go to the gym, work hard, you got perseverance for that one day, do you expect to lose that, reach your goal? If you go once, no, right? And that's where persistence comes in. You have to be willing to go day in and day out, continuously pushing, continuously um, growing and going at it. Then there's patience. Now, when we put our bodies and our minds through um, these tough times and have to persevere and have persistence, it it can be very challenging to have the third one, sorry, patience. Again, so your goal is 15 pounds, and let's say you did all that perseverance and persistence for a week, and let's say you lost 2 pounds. You're like, what the heck? I did all that work, and I only lost this much. That's where patience comes in.
Hmm.
You have to be patient, and then and contentment. Sorry, the fourth one is contentment, and now um, this one is very meaningful for me because um, sometimes you just be grateful what you've already accomplished. Again, the goal is 15 pounds, and let's say you lose that 10 pounds. Look at it as, you know what, I'm not where I've started. Be grateful, be thankful, be content. Obviously, you want to continue to go at it, but at that moment, be thankful for where you are. And then faith. Faith is, for me, everything. Without faith, you won't be able to start. Like, if you don't believe in yourself that you're gonna reach that 15 pounds, you would never start, right? I'm sure when you have to have that moment of faith with you when you want to start your platform, right? And the reason why we are here is because you had that faith in yourself. So I want to thank you for exhibiting the five nuggets, where I'm able to be on your
Thank you.
platform and actually, speak, right? So, um, yeah, that's basically what five nuggets is all about. It's about, you know, really going at it and being committed, right? So I look at it as all the nuggets are different ingredients, and when you cook them all up together, it comes out to commitment. How committed are you? And then you see what you're committed to and what you're willing to do when you're committed to something. Like my son, my family, my wife, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that I provide for them and take care of them. I'm committed. I'm committed, right? So that's what the five nuggets is all about.
Um, DeAndre, I just say that I have to say this because I listen to you and you are you're so wise for someone who's under 30. Can I just say under 30? You're not your exact age, and it's like you have all this kind of knowledge for someone who is a little bit younger than me, just a little bit. So where does it come from? Where does all this inspiration come from? Is it, within your own spirit, or is it something that you've learned from someone else?
Um, First and foremost, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, I learned it a lot from my mentors. Again, I had the privilege of having great mentors. Obviously, my parents, they've raised me well. Um, my in-laws, I learned so much from my in-laws as well. So really, just putting away the pride. I feel like everyone has that. Yeah, I know everything. I'm this. I'm that. Put that away and be willing to absorb knowledge from somebody, especially someone who's has that knowledge, that experience over you, right? So I definitely take time to listen to my mentors speak um, and share their story, and having those people who are willing to share their story, That's very important as well, because if they didn't share their story, I wouldn't really know how to look at certain things. So for me, like, something that I'm trying to stop, kind of, like, for example, calling women ma'am and sir, miss, ma'am, having that proper, um, being polite to the elders. I learned that from my mentors, right? And I know right now a lot of people are kind of sensitive to that. I don't know why, but I learned that from my mentors of being, polite, and perseverance. I learned that from my parents, and the work ethic. I learned that from watching my parents. Like, my dad, he's a worker. I've never seen, and he enjoys working. So that work ethic really does come from my father and my mother as well, especially seeing where they came from and where they are now. It's like I can't say anything negative. I just really just have to look and be appreciative of what they've taught me without even really saying too much.
Hmm. I think it's a wonderful um, attribute to have, to be respectful, to be polite, but these are behaviors that are taught, right? So we can't expect our children to grow up that way. We have to
Teach them.
teach, and I see some of that. I see a gap in that happening in younger people, because I work with younger people,
Absolutely.
and I'm okay if I have to pull out Auntie Nikki on them and just say, "Excuse me,
Yep.
slow down,"
Yep.
and you keep that door open
Yeah.
for an elder and let them go through the door.
Absolutely.
You know, I see them walking through and then smack the doors in. You don't,
That's
that's a no-no where I come
absolutely.
from. So, but you can't um you can't judge the child. You judge the behavior, and if you're that person, then you can just say, look, this is what you can do instead of this behavior,
Absolutely.
and this is going to be better for you in the long run.
Absolutely.
So this is where it's so important to invite mentors into the lives of young people, right? And I have done very well through the mentoring of my parents, who are, it sounds like they're very similar to yours, Jamaican, hardworking,
Hmm.
disciplinarian, academically driven, but
Yeah.
I'm a product of of that discipline, and it hasn't hurt me. It's been
Absolutely.
able to keep me focused and to be able to do what I do, right?
Absolutely.
And the same way I've been able to teach lessons to my children,
Hmm.
and I hope they will pass on the good lessons to their children, right?
That,
And the adopted children that I have in my life, the
hmm.
same lessons.
Absolutely.
So with Five Nuggets, and then your tutoring and mentoring, and I love the fact that you want to, you know, kind of keep this all in one building, have a facility to
Yeah.
keep the many systems going in growing up
Hmm.
individuals. That's really what it is, raising a village.
Absolutely.
What else do you see happening for yourself?
Well, in the near future, like right now, we are doing a fundraiser. So we're raising money, again, for the free tutoring and scholarships. That's something that I really I've been wanting to do since I was like young. I'm like 16. I just want to just give someone money and, allow them to flourish with it. So with scholarships, I definitely really want to do that, especially because knowing how um, expensive schooling is, transportation, food, anything. Um, I want to be able to provide scholarships and, again, educational programs. So currently, I'm working closely with those who are above me and have a little bit more wisdom in the subject of finance, and I want to create a financial course, which will be taught online as well as physical once this pandemic is done. Um, where we're able to help children, create an emergency fund for themselves. Um, so yeah, my right now in this time, I really want to just grow this fundraiser, raise some capital where we're able just to help the community, and from there continue to plot and plan, sell more books, as much as possible, and again, just really push education. We're also looking to partner with one representative from Knowledge First. They are Canada's largest RESP company, and I want to also promote the importance of investing in our children's education. Again, because once high school is done, now it's post-secondary, right? And that can be very challenging for some, especially when it comes with the fees. So if you start from young and put bit by bit, you'll be surprised what you're able to get and what you're able to have. So I want to be able to also provide, some assistance in providing some RESPs for low-income families as well. So that's something that's on my heart as well, and I'm working towards.
Awesome. Well, I am amazed by your vision and grateful for this opportunity to learn more about what you're doing, Dondre. Completely support what you're doing. So keep making great strides, not only for yourself and your family, but for the community at large. We appreciate everything you're doing. And can you hold up that book again? Let's see the book. All right. Dondre Homer. Do you mind reading? I always like children's books. Would you mind just reading us? It's not bedtime yet, but almost my bedtime. Can you read a little excerpt from the book?
Okay. I'll probably read my favorite part.
Everybody's got a favorite part in their books.
I guess it will start with the first, when it comes down to actually writing down your goals. So I'll just read this page 6. It says, the first step to achieving your goal is to write them down on a piece of paper and ask yourself 3 important questions. What is my goal? So what is it am I trying to achieve? Why am I trying to achieve this goal? What is motivating me to achieve this goal? And how am I going to achieve this goal? What are the steps I need to take to make my goal come true? And the reason why that's my favorite part of the book is because it starts from the goals, the goal setting. And there's multiple different types of goal setting. There's smart goals, but there's a book from Simon Sinek, and he has The Power of Why, and he goes, what, why, and how, but the why is always important. And I kind of took that and I kind of not made it my own, but it's more so like, okay, whenever I have a goal, I ask myself, what am I trying to accomplish? I write it down. I want to write a book. Why am I writing this book? I want to make sure that I teach my son these 5 characteristics. How am I going to do that? Okay, I have a book, I have my why. All right, page by page, bit by bit, I'm going to step 1, finish perseverance. Step 2, and go down the list. And once you're able to write them down, you're able to see that, hey, I'm able to start check marking. And once you start seeing those check marks, you're like, whoa, I'm doing this. I'm actually
I've accomplished something.
I'm accomplishing, right? And when you start building that confidence, that's when you're able to just, the wheel is going to continue to turn. So that's my favorite part of the book, for sure, is understanding the basics. What is it? Why? And how?
Wonderful. Now, that book is geared to what age group for children?
So it's geared to 8 and up, but I always encourage parents, even if your child is an infant, to continue to read to them, because, and although they may not know what you're saying, read to them and build that bond. I remember when my son was in the hospital and in the queue, I used to read to him. I used to bring the book and I'll read in front of the I forgot what it's called, but in the queue box. I'm so sorry if I said the wrong thing.
Cubicle? No. Incubator?
Incubator. Thank
Incubator.
you.
Okay.
And I'll just read, and building that bond. Even when he came home, you know, laying him on the bed and, hi, my name is Leo. And he just looks at me laughing and drooling, but, you know, we're building that bond, right? So it is 8 and up, but I do recommend parents to get the book and read to your children. Even if it's not this book, build that bond with your children, because that time that you're building is irreplaceable. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And nurturing the love of literacy early, even before children can verbalize, they're still comprehending and making sense of what you're saying. So fantastic. I'm a big fan. I think you're an amazing dad and husband, and I just really love what you're doing in the community. So tell us, Dondre, how can people locate you on social media if they want to reach out, and also where to buy the book?
So you can go to buy the book and support the fundraiser at 5nuggets.com. And then you can go to the fundraiser and pick your ballot. We're able to click one of the gift baskets that we have that we're auctioning off.
Ooh, gift baskets.
Yes. So
what's in the gift basket? Sorry to digress.
Wine, cheese. Let me just look through.
You have one nearby?
And pardon?
Can we look? Labor of Love says, yes, that's my husband. So proud.
Thank you, baby. So if you go, so I don't have the baskets in hand right now, but if you go on the website, you'll be able to see all. I don't know if you're able to.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
All right, I thought you had the physical basket. No, okay.
Yeah.
Continue. Sorry, I distracted you.
No problem. And then to follow me on Instagram, you could go _D Homer. That's my personal. And then 5 Nuggets is _5 Nuggets. And that's how you find me. And again, I do hope that you guys do support. We're really trying to change a lot of lives, a lot of kids' lives for sure with literature. So, yeah.
Awesome. Dondre, thank you so much. Truly appreciate your time. And I know you probably want to put your little one to bed now. So thank you again. And we will connect again soon once we have the go-ahead to go into the studio and do this all over again. But it's been a fun time with you on Instagram Live. And thank you, everyone who's joined to support the show and also to support Dondre. And if you want to further support, we want to keep those great stories out there. Please give a like, share. I also have a YouTube channel, The Nikki Clarke Show, so go please subscribe. And we'll keep the conversations that matter going. All right, so you've been watching The Nikki Clarke Show. Thank you again, Dondre. Catch you again soon. Everybody stay safe and strong. Bye for now.